Alright guys, it's Hank here, and basically I'm going to go through some data so I can take a look at it later and pause it, and then if you want to comment we can have a broader discussion about how to integrate BEP or Better Explosives Redo by Z and kind of make it universal so it fits into the what I'm just going to start calling this particular curation overall is I'm just going to name it Ultimate Survival Immersion, and what it's just USI. So anything that I'm going to put out under the USI is going to include a VIS-G tag, um, um, a workbench assignment, and most of it is going to be chemistry workbench, so you can do it in the field, but there will be, of course, things that will be assigned to the armorsmith workbench, the weaponsmith workbench, and possibly other workbenches, depending. So what I'm going to take a look at today is the Grenade Expansion Pack 2, because there's, in my opinion, a whole lot of fluff that's in that Grenade Expansion Pack. There's just a whole lot that I can't use, don't need, don't want, and it's pretty much clutter. And the remote explosives in the Grenade Expansion Pack 2 are nowhere near as good as Fading Signals remote explosives. Also, I added real throwing weapons, and I'm probably going to up the damage on those and remove a lot of the fluff in that, because there's only a few pieces that I really want of that mod, but it's a very good mod. And I did take the slow-mo out. I don't like the idea of the like slow time when you throw it like a grenade. It's treated like a thrown grenade, just like the throwing knife in Grenade Expansion Pack 2 was treated like a thrown grenade. I loved using that little throwing knife to slay my enemies because I like stealth kills, knife kills, stab and break, bash. All of that's fun because that's one of those things that Z gave us with better locational damage. So nothing is more impressive than getting those stealth knife kills. It's a hell of a lot of fun. And then want to take a look at the RPG 7v2 and hopefully get the weights down on some of the stuff, like the remote nuke. There's no reason for it to weigh 12 pounds. I mean, the remote nuke itself weighs 8. To add a little detonation equipment to it, half a pound maybe, so 8.5 to 9 pounds. Everything in survival is about being able to construct it in the field, get maximum use out of it, not have to carry it for very long. So everything, so I can just stay in the field, don't have to go back to any settlements, no fast travel, none of that. Just, I want to be able to survive virtually forever without ever having to enter a city or settlement unless it's quest related. And I want all encounters to be extremely lethal. So whatever I'm doing to my enemy is also doing to me. So you saw in the last episode, I've added SKK Stalkers, which is badass, keeps you on your toes, in conjunction with PA-NPC, which is improved AI, and way better than those advanced AI tweaks, because there's a difference between having a good AI and having an overpowered AI that's going to track you across like ridiculous distances and get better advantages against you as you're sneaking through shadow, or because you still need to be able to hide in shadows, use stealth, use your shadowed armor, take those advantages and use them traveling under cover of darkness, traveling early in the morning, traveling at dusk. Those are the type of entering a facility during dusk. So you have, especially if it has windows like the Museum of Freedom, because it darkens the inside and gives you an opportunity to deliver those stealth kills without being detected by your enemy. Because those close range engagements inside of buildings will kill you. So everything it is not to wear power armor relies on either being able to hit your enemies from distance with a sniper rifle, to drop them with one shot, one kill, being able to apply the right explosives in the right situations and detonate them at the right times, that have the right power, that have the right function for whatever you're trying to bring down. Having the thrown weapons I'm adding in because it's just friggin' cool. I'd like to bury a tomahawk in the back of a raider's head from distance. So if I don't think I can actually get to him and knife him, I can tomahawk him. And then those will be, even a suppressor delivers a little bit of sound that can be detected, especially if it's automatic. Now, if you go to Better Locational Damage and you look at there's like one of the optional patches in there, or one of the optional patches connected to Better Locational Damage actually does a muzzles and sound fix, which is critically important to incorporate into your game, because vanilla Fallout did not apply the right sound values to suppressors, muzzle brakes, compensators, standard barrels, some explosives. So the detections are off on that. A while back I was testing in Good Neighbor. I couldn't figure out why I was sneaking through with a suppressed pistol, shooting triggermen in the back of the head and alerting guys on the third floor. It was because the suppressors had an incorrect noise assignment. So what I mean to get onto is that the thrown weapons would have no sound whatsoever, just like the stealth kill. So, because when you're firing, an automatic suppressed weapon, say like your service rifle, and you just open up automatic, dump 30 rounds, that will get detected. You're doing all kinds of things. You're hitting, there's a bullet reference when you strike material that gives it sound. So when you miss, you hit something that's going to alert. And then with Greslin working on PA NPC and improving all the time, they'll hear in those detection rates, they just don't give up. They don't go away. They'll keep looking for you for a little while. So it changes the dynamic a little bit. So basically, I did a lot of research the other day on, number one, creating override plugin patches. And then I went on to really get deep into instance naming rules and how to do all that. So what I'm going to do right now is basically some data collection. So I can look at it later, perhaps from another room, perhaps from another screen, and just pause it. And then start to think about what I'm going to remove, how I'm going to remove it, and what new damage values I'm going to assign. So let's get to it. All right. Now this is just for your edification knowledge. This is the master of the keywords that you would use to apply to your armorsmith workbench and your weapons workbench. AEC _ CM _ AR. Basically, puts it in the combat armor category, and then there's your keyword, and that's how that works. Okay. So AEC._CM is going to go into your armorsmith crafting workbench. So then you got power armor, your AEC_CM_WG should go into your weapons workbench. But we're going to take a look at that and make sure that this is true. Or your weaponsmith workbench. We're going to make sure that this is true in the way that we have this set up. And things that I don't want to have to be crafted, say, at the explosives workbench, even though I want some certain things to be have to be crafted inside settlements, like certain armors, for example, certain weapons, for example. We'll be able to modify those keywords. So the first thing we need to do is in Fallout 4.esm, in constructible objects. Okay, and here's the keyword, workbench chem-lab. So that's going to make sure that it's just, as an example, my antibiotics can be crafted at any chemistry station. Now, as I went through this the other day, I'm basically going to break down as fast as I can instance naming rules, basically. You've got your, let's see if I can find a better example. Because, well, there will be a better example, but that's the keyword for ChemLab, and that's what we're going to use for all of my field explosives. You can see what components are required to craft the antibiotics. Let's see. These conditions here this right here is the requirement that you would need to craft it. So you would need chemist 1, and that's the reference. Now, player reference, you shouldn't mess with the reference for this. And see, parameter number 3 minus 1 means it's let me not try not to get too far ahead of myself. But basically, what it does is it it adds an instance. Let me not get ahead of myself, because it can get quite complicated. All right. So all I really came here for was to show that the workbench chem lab. All right. Now these are the things that we're going to modify. You can see my weapons starting here. P220, P99, my service rifle, Wasteland Melody, the RU556, the expansion pack for these two weapons, the AUG, the Wasteland Melody Chinese assault rifle, Fallout 4 New Vegas 50 caliber sniper rifle, the Wasteland Melody 50 caliber heavy machine gun, the MAC-10 by Doom, the hunting shotgun by Doom, the MPX submachine gun, the SCAR, which can be chambered in 5.56, 7.62, and 308. Right now, mine is chambered in 7.62 millimeter because I'm trying to work on finding a way to make that 7.62 millimeter round something that takes down super mutants, because it's a heavier round. It's like 5.56 is nice and light, good for taking down raiders, dogs, you know, just a general practical type of weapon. But when you start to engage super mutants, you need that knockdown, penetrating power of 7.62 millimeter, like Samuel L. Jackson said in Jackie Brown. He said, AK-47, when you absolutely positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room. That's your 7.62. And I'll include a link to Paul Harrell's channel about basically penetrating through different things in the house, how the 5.56 performs, how the 7.62 performs, and how the 9 millimeter performs against different household objects, so you can actually get an idea of penetration. Okay, real throwing weapons, this is what we're going to modify. Now my question really is, can I just disable or delete these weapon references? Now I've got a little thing here from Z that talks about object damage cheat adjustments that he likes to take out. So I'm curious if this same type of method can be applied not just for a attach point as a keyword for the mod, or you know, a mod attachment, but for the actual entirety of the weapon itself. I don't know if you do. Leave me a comment, because I'm a little nervous about messing around. I mean, I'm kind of almost tempted to take the real throwing weapons .esp and take them just like I've done with the grenade expansion pack 2. So over here is your Bethesda archive extractor, which breaks apart your BA2s, and then you've got you know, your grenade files and stuff. And then I would just delete what I didn't want and repack what I did, possibly through the creation kit. I don't know what is the safer, smarter, better way about going about and then, you know, repackaging it. Let's see, to repackage it. With the creation kit. So I don't know exactly what the smart move would be for that. What makes more sense? Alright, let's get back to Fallout 4 edit. I mean, does it make more sense to break it apart in the with the archive extractor and then delete and reload, or can I just remove it from right here without destroying the game? Okay. Same thing with grenade expansion pack. There's so much crap here I don't need. I don't want, you know. Disguise bottle cap mine. I don't need that. None of this. I don't need any of that. I don't need a pulse cocktail. A force grenade. I don't know what in the hell that is. I'm not making any modifications right at the moment. You know, I don't want any of the darts. I do need the incendiary grenade, as I've mentioned before. But it's going to have to match the Better Explosives Redo. I got to bring the damages up on these to make them effective. Won't need that. Won't need that. Although some of these models might be useful. I won't need that. I'm going to try and scroll through a little bit slowly. There's going to be no rock grenade. I won't need that. The radiation grenade I probably will do as a dirty bomb perhaps, but I want we've already got gamma grenades, which are just fine, so this would be something that I would want to turn into a long-lasting radiation field that I could use as a remote explosive. Fusion grenade, which should be like friggin' ridiculously powerful. Poison grenades, I definitely want these. And what that's going to require is for me to figure out what the keyword is for it. Okay. So, is that here? Preview transform. Where do I modify the way that the poison works, how strong the poison is? Okay, damage on hit, critical effect, capacity grenade, weight, half a pound value, damage base. It should have like a magical effect. And I believe that it's probably this. So let's look up here in explosion or magic effect, probably where it might be where it would be. So mole rat poison grenade effect. Okay. So this is the poison effect, damage type poison, chem effect. It's got its resistance value. And then the conditions here. So, Chem effect is what I'm looking for. That's the keyword I would be looking for, I think. Damage type poison, chem effect. So these are the explosions here. Let's see if we can find the poison grenade explosion. So that's the explosion. The enchantment, poison damage. ENCH. Three 549E. So I don't see it there. These are object modifications. That's not what I'm looking for. Still got to find that enchantment. Fact. That's ammo. There's the explosions. Wouldn't be under leveled. I would have thought it would have been under magic effect. As enchant, ENCH. So poison is where I'm looking for. Damage type poison. MGEF. All kinds of new keywords have been made for this particular mod. And it's tough to really understand how to get this modified properly. Now I'll try to look up here. Let's see, poison grenade. And what I really want to look up now is the where is the enchantment record? It would be these are my explosions, so let's try poison grenade explosion. There we go. Object effect. I don't want to modify anything, but I want to find out. And so the form ID is I'm going to copy this. So you guys can see where I'm having some difficulty here with some of the stuff that I would really enjoy modifying, but how all the keywords and stuff are really going to confuse the absolute hell out of me because I don't have any experience whatsoever modifying much beyond base damages. And it's kind of a scary prospect because I've broken the game before. So like with the hacks RPG, so we've got our standard ammo, and then the explosions that are attached to it. So full name, rocket standard model, keyword, object type ammo, projectile. So, okay. Projectile, maybe. So the standard projectile, here we go. We can see the impact force, the collision radius. Form ID. Explosion missile shell. So that's going to use something that should be modified in Better Explosives Redo, which has to go lower in the load order list than your better locational damage stuff. So it's got to override. And explosion missile shell. So these that one explosion there in the with the RPG should deliver these characteristics if the override works properly, and I believe it should, because it's modified this record from here to here, and using this new data set. So let's look at the HE explosion. So it's got its own explosions in these cases. But what I'd like to do is kind of remove all these different projectiles. Simple is better. Just one friggin' rocket. That's all I really want. One rocket. I mean, I guess I could, you know, have it so I could design different rockets for the rocket launcher in the field, having the appropriate, I would have to say, probably gun nut, demolitions expert, and depending, like, if it was nuclear, I would say probably science. Proximity, I would probably say science. Cluster projectile, I'd probably say demo 2. HE, I'd probably say demo 2, and that would be demo 1. So, you know, that's what I'm saying here. I'm just looking, like I'm saying, I'm looking through and trying to figure out, okay, where are the overrides and what's new that I'm actually going to have to get in and modify the actual keyword. And I got to get weights down on stuff. I think the weights on these were reasonable. £4 for a rocket. You know, you think about it, a bag of sugar weighs 5 pounds, and that's kind of how I think about carry weight. And I'd say, yeah, sure, a rocket about 4 pounds. That's a lightweight rocket. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's a little bit heavier. Cool. Could be too lightweight. A cluster rocket. I think cluster rockets out of an RPG-7 is silly. I'd take that out. And there should be no reason a proximity would weigh more than the standard 4 pound. All of them should weigh 4 pounds. You know, when it comes to like giant explosions and stuff, that's what the remote explosives are going to be for. Now, the most important part of the grenade expansion pack is this weapon. Where is it even? I might just take the whole of this out right now and just put in the 40mm grenade launcher and start working with it there, because this is too much. There's a lot of great stuff in here, but it's too much for me to do. I need if it was to get done, it's going to require somebody that has a lot more experience with modding explosives than I do. So pulse charge, explosion there. And the energy damage. Now, I talked a few days ago about some very good new remote explosives to add in, and how I believe that at the moment it's overriding the explosive. Weapon type thrown, damage. See, remote explosive projectile, remote nuke. And then I believe it refers, the actual explosion is going to refer to it would probably be in explosion. So, Fat Man explosion is what's going to happen. And we come down here to Fat Man explosion. And these are the modified characteristics, which are just fine. Okay. So, not to get too crazy, I want to remove some of the stuff out of here. I'm just going to have to remove this for now. And hopefully somebody with a lot more experience with explosives can help me get some of the critical grenades out of it, and discard all the trash. And hopefully somebody with more experience than I can get this functioning properly. To add a few more remote explosives. And then, of course, what I really came here to do today is pull data on this so I can actually pause it and look at it and say, okay, what happens? What's the grenade shell explosion look like? What I need to see. That's plenty of time to pause it. Car explosion. Car nuke large vehicles. This beats just having to write everything out by hand. Okay. Oxygen tank explosion. I'm going to return to this in a bit. I've got to get some things ready. It's been Hank. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.